So how strong was Alex?
You think they judging y'all because they beat y'all? Servite decent, right? But they beat the shit out of Servite too. Huh? They judging y'all on last year?
You can't do that though. It's a whole new year. If that's the case, then shit, you might have crown with one last year. They don't need to play the schedule.
The jacked up part is that they got a loss. Let me see. Does matter? They both got losses and they both are still ahead of y'all, right?
How do you do that?
None of us have never played Matter Day, huh?
Nope.
Y'all ever tried to schedule Matter Day?
It's the one time when I went to the convention in Texas, I was talking to their coaches, and they was like, "Oh, we can make it happen." But then those teams want to play you when they can control the narrative. If you say, "Nah, let's play here on this time," the answer gonna be no.
Mm-hmm.
Come to California, players in California on this day, we can say yes. That's how that go.
I think schools across the nation use our what's the word? We're so overzealous.
Right.
Yeah, we so quick to thump our chest and be like, whatever, man, we play y'all backyard.
That's
and they use it against us sometimes.
And for one, for us, we don't mind going to, because it's exposure for our kids. Most of our kids know travel past Orlando, so
right.
If you get a chance to take the kids to California, then you're like, all right, let's ride. But the problem with that is,
has Bishop Gorman ever came here?
They came to Naples. We played them last year in Naples.
They did. They came to Naples.
We lost 21-20. We played them last year in Naples.
They wouldn't play y'all in Trash Power?
No. Not gonna happen.
You see, they wanted a neutral site in Florida.
Neutral site in Florida.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know if it's not being smart on our behalf or just being, you know what I'm saying?
But if we don't agree to it, then we don't get the game.
Why they don't care and we do?
Because they got all the votes already.
Let's talk about that.
I don't need to play y'all. Y'all need to play me.
Let's talk about that. So we'll put the link in the description down there. A story on how MaxPrep didn't go under. Because MaxPrep wasn't always a great platform. They didn't always have the information, but it seems they've gotten better. But AJ found a story that basically shows that MaxPreps survived because of the coaches in California and the school board in California basically rooted for MaxPreps versus SBA. Tell them how about it.
I mean, it basically states that the CIF, which is the like our GMAC down here, they basically didn't want MaxPrep, but the coaches basically got together and said, "No, we want MaxPreps."
The coaches in California.
Yeah, they had like a little mini revolt and said, "Nah, this is who we want."
Right, and then basically MaxPrep stayed in place because the coaches voted for it.
Right.
Now, what this all started is that John Bosco and Matter Day ranked 1 and 2 throughout the whole year on MaxPreps.
Well, it was crazy because we was 2. They had Matter Day 1, we were 2, and then when Matter Day beat Bosco the first game,
they jumped up.
Matter Day stayed. They were 1, we were 2 after we beat IMG. We started off the year as 4. We beat IMG, we went to 2. So at that point, it was like, all right, we number 2. We knew that Matter Day and Bosco had to play each other. So it was like, okay, let's see how this shake out. So Matter Day plays Bosco. They beat Bosco. So Matter Day stays 1. Now Bosco has a loss. So now you turn around.
Where did they drop to? Do you remember?
They dropped to probably like 5 or something like that.
This is wild.
So now they get ready for the rematch, not in the championship, but the playoffs. They say, okay, Matter Day has to turn around and play Bosco again.
Right.
We like, okay, that's fine with us. I'm like, but what happens if Bosco wins? Matter Day drops from 1. Make a long story short, the game is Friday. The polls come out on Tuesday. Now all of a sudden, Bosco is 2, and we're 3. I'm like, whoa.
Without a game being played.
No games played. I'm like, how does that happen?
Whoa. Yeah?
Yeah, I'm like, how does that happen?
You think they're trying to give Bosco credit for having to play the number 1 team in the nation twice in 1 year? Would you give any credence to that?
I wouldn't. You know why? Because if you create the polls and you ranking them number 1, Like, how does that work?
I mean, you can only go to college football. Like in college football, was set up kind of like this, where everybody couldn't play everybody,
right.
And it had to be a poll. And when your ass lost, your ass lost.
That's
there wasn't
it.
no.
There was no. You don't get a promotion for losing. No sport conglomerate do when you lose.
Right.
You get a credit for second. Like they always say, second place is mean you the first loser.
So so they made them number 2. So basically, it was like putting a fence around California.
Yeah, like one of them's gonna be one.
One of them's gonna be
1 or 2. That's it. They're gonna be one. No matter what, they're going to be the number 1 team.
So John Bosco they played twice.
Yeah. So
John
Bosco ends
beat
up beating Man Day the second game.
And then they flip them.
So now Bosco becomes 1, and Matter Day becomes 2.
Right.
The polls don't move. So when Alabama plays Georgia and Alabama loses and drops down to 5,
they out.
That's it. But they literally, Alabama then has to win the rest of their games and beat like LSU or somebody
especially
else.
at the end of the season,
right? To get back in.
Right.
You don't just automatically say, "Oh, okay, well, guess what? They lost. We're just gonna make them 2, and they stay in the." That's not how that goes.
Right.
You don't go from 1 to 2 when you lose. When you lose, you go down to 4. Had we lost to IMG, we probably would have been 10.
Right.
From 3.
IMG ended up where? Cause I know you done looked at this poll.
IMG ends up at 5.
They 5
because they ranking. You have Bosco at 1, Matter Day at 2. You put us at 3. Now they trying to switch the poll and put us back at 2. And then they put Bishop Gorman at 4, and then IMG at 5.
So I saw you go all the way back to 2008 when Ja'Cory Harris them had the greatest team, when teams wasn't traveling like
Right.
that. Yeah,
Right.
and they happened to
went
travel
to South
to
Lake Carroll and embarrassed them people on ESPN.
Right. And still they didn't win.
According to MaxPreps, no, they wasn't the national champs.
Who was crowned national champ that year? You remember?
Let's
see.
It's on
2008? Let's see.
It's on my tweet. But it wasn't them. According to MaxPrep, I was like, what?
But a poll or 2 did make y'all the national champs, right?
Yes. 2 polls did say we're national champions.
Is MaxPreps the biggest one?
To me, no poll is the biggest one, considering if you look at how it's rigged. The top 3 polls are all in cahoots.
It's definitely. Listen, I've done polls with FOOTBALLVILLE, and you realize that you can't get this right. You can't get it right. It's just don't.
But here's the thing, though. How does Cal Prep? Let's just listen to the name. Cal Prep. How does they poll count? If that's the case, then the Miami Herald should get a poll.
Right.
It should be Miami Prep.
Right.
And they should get a poll. And it should count. So should any other state. You can't tell me Cal Prep gets a vote that matters. And that helps you determine the national champ. Like, come on, bro. It says Cal Prep. Like, that's like, if that ain't the most biased thing in the universe.
How many votes is it, you know?
They're saying it's 7 major polls.
And Cal Prep is one of them.
Cal Prep is 1.
Nothing over here on this side?
Not even close.
So they dropped Chaminade to 10.
Right.
And they jumped Gorman over. Why they keep trying IMG? You know why? Because IMG's banned in California.
And here's the other thing, too. You start off ranking IMG as the greatest team in the country. Mm-hmm. They're going to be 1 or 2. IMG been crowned champions, national champs, all this other stuff.
And then this year they ain't got no credit.
Y'all lost to some little kids that y'all wasn't supposed to lose to. So we got to justify the polls.
Right. We
got to downgrade y'all to make it seem like y'all wasn't that good. It's still IMG though. That's when you look at IMG roster, it's still 29 Division I Power 5 players.
Oh, look at that. I was trying to see, IMG only played 9 games this year. I was trying to see their roster. I mean, they schedule. No, you're right. Remember I asked you that. Why is IMG 5? Like, what did they you know what I'm saying? But it's because they lost to...
They lost to us.
Right.
So now you discrediting IMG.
Right.
Because you got to justify this poll now. can't say.
How long you been looking at this though? How long has it been bothering you?
It's been bothering me since because I'm like, how did you get dropped and you didn't lose? Like if you could, like, trust me, I'm not a person that cry, none of that. And this ain't no plea, because to me, if it's happening to us, it could happen to anybody else next year.
Right.
And right is right, wrong is wrong. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna stand on what's right. And what's right is you can't defend how you're basing it on strength of schedule. Okay, I get that. But then when you say margin of victory in high school football is almost impossible to do. You can't judge it on that. You want to know why? Because if I'm beating a team, and over here we played a team where we took a running clock the whole third and fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. It was a 4-minute running clock. It was 4 minutes a quarter and a running clock, and the score was 60-0 at half.
Right.
Am I trying to run the score up on that team? No.
No.
Because I don't have to agree to that.
Right.
But I'm not going to embarrass that school because that school still has to play football next year. They still got to get kids. They still like I ain't trying to. I ain't signed up to just I'm gonna demolish you because I can. Like nah, come on, bro. That's sportsmanship. That's not what it's about.
IMG beat somebody 96 zip this year. They must didn't take that into account.
But how do you get 96 points, bro? Like at the end of the day,
let's look at the box score.
At the end of the day, like 96 points, man. Come on, man.
96 points.
How do you get 96 points?
Chaminade had got what that night? They said their defense kept scoring.
Yeah, Chaminade did the same thing.
They did.
They punt, they kick over, whatever you do, they just score points.
You gotta be scoring on both sides of the ball.
They scored 7 points on defense. Chaminade did it, and they defense. Like they hit the quarterback, he fumbled, they threw a pick six.
Right.
Like everything they did, they basically gave up a touchdown.
Right.
You know what I mean? And again though, Chaminade doesn't have the depth to really sub out. You know what I mean? We can sub. I sub out and start playing my kids. That's probably should have been playing. They probably would have played till 2 years from now. But hey man, let them start playing because for us, we still got to maintain our group of kids because we're still competing with schools in a 10-mile radius. And 10-mile radius, it's probably about 15 schools that we got to still compete to keep our kids. And the only way you do that is to play the kids.
Right.
So you have to play the kids. Basically, when you up on the team, you got to start playing your young guys. Else they're going to be transferring next year. And you won't have a program. You'll have a good football team that year.
Right.
But you won't be able to win 9 state championships in 12 years.
No, I get it. I mean, so basically, MaxPrep is West Coast based, out of California.
No doubt.
And I mean, the article basically says that the coaches, the school board, basically rooted for MaxPreps or voted for MaxPreps or went to bat for MaxPreps.
Right.
To keep them
in control.
In control as
the
platform.
sole proprietor platform for California football.
And you just feel it got to be some. What you call it?
It's a gentleman's agreement. We're gonna put it on paper. The gentleman's agreement is, hey man, y'all gonna be a single platform, and for us, you know, we gotta make sure when that ranking come out, we where we need to be.